Hey guys, and welcome to the only channel on YouTube that makes worst to best videos on a schedule, kind of, except YouTube banned me, so I missed my schedule this time. But, however, it is fine, and all is okay, except for my crippling depression. Now, let's get into the Radiohead worst to best, because everyone likes Radiohead. Yes, everyone, including myself. Radiohead's the best band of all time, and anyone that says otherwise is retarded in the brain, mentally dumb. Yes. Okay, let's get this started with number 9. Number 9 is King of the Limbs. What can I say about this album? There's no songs I particularly like on it. It's like if Kid A, Amnesiac, and Pablo Honey had this shitty baby. Because, all three of those albums kind of work together on their own. Pablo Honey's the worst good album they've made. You know, it's like all three of those had a baby together, and all the sounds just mixed, smashed together into some giant, shitty centipede that was constantly barfing out itself infinitely. Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's nothing really good about it, which is kind of sad, honestly. I had some high expectations for this album after listening to Amnesiac and Hail to the Thief, but sadly it failed me. Number 8 is A Moon-Shaped Pool. So A Moon-Shaped Pool is, I guess, okay. That's all I got for it. It's just okay. I mean, they really tried to go for some sort of depressing tone for this album, and I just don't like it. I think it's fake. I think it sounds really fake. It sounds manufactured. It sounds like another cog in the corporate machine, even though they're not even signed to a record label anymore. Like, it sounds like a cog in a machine, and a really garbage one. Not like an okay computer where it sounds like a cog in a machine, but it sounds like the main cog, not the tiny cog off to the far right that no one gives a shit about. No, the giant cog. But this is garbage. I can't listen to it. It makes my ears bleed. Not as badly as King of the Limbs does, but hey, what can I say except it's trash. Number 7 is Pablo Honey. This is the first song I actually have notable. This is the first album I have notable songs for. The notable songs on this album are Creep and Anyone Can Play the Guitar. Otherwise, this album's a very boring, bland mishmash of random, boring, bland bits that come together in a boring and bland way. And that's it. That's all it is. Boring and bland. It sounds like every other grunge album to ever exist, ever, except much worse. That's all it is. But luckily, Creep shot him into stardom, so I think that, if this album didn't exist, they wouldn't exist. Like, if they had started trying to work on something else, and had not made this specific album, they would not be where they are today as a band. So I'm giving it extra points for being a building block. Because honestly, this should be below A Moon-Shaped Pool, not above. But it gets extra points for being the main building block of all of Radiohead. So, Number 6 is Amnesiac. So, Amnesiac has a lot of good songs on it. This being Packed Like Sardines in a Tin Can Box, Pyramid Song, You and Whose Army, and Life in a Glass House. I really enjoy this album. It kind of sounds like Kid A, or it sounds like something that was trying to be Kid A, which I guess I am okay with, but overall it's a very boring listen. By track 5 you're just like, oh come on, please let it end. Please let it end. I'm gonna fall asleep in like 10 seconds. So, it has that going for it. But, it's just not a good album. Really, I mean, it's a good album, but it's not good like the other albums I'm about to talk about. So, that kind of sucks. Huzzah! Scene change. Yes, scene has changed. It is now daytime, and there is this behind me, this couch. And there's also crappy music playing in the background. Why? Because my grandparents love horrible, horrible music. Now, let's get into only the good music, the good stuff, the good things that exist in this world. Number 5 is Hail to the Thief. The notable tracks on here are 2 plus 2 equals 5, Sail to the Moon, and A Wolf at the Door. Now, although Amnesiac had a lot more songs that I enjoyed on it, I feel like these songs are just more solid than those songs. So that is why it is higher up. That makes sense? Okay. Number 4 is the Bends. Because the baby's got the bends or something. Yes, that's a line on a song. Anyway, the notable songs on here are Planet Telex, Fake Plastic Trees, Bulletproof, I Wish I Was, and I guess the Bends, honestly. This album is very solid. This album is a very solid album. It kind of takes everything from their last album and then makes it better. Which is why it's a better album than that. It's why it's 2 spots higher than Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey is a good album, don't get me wrong. It's an enjoyable listen, but this just has so much more going for it. They changed their sound so much, and it has all those melancholy-ish moments. It all sounds so amazing, and it's just so good. And Bulletproof is literally like the saddest song on here. May or may not have made me cry the first time I listened to it. Not something I like admitting, but yeah. Okay, it's time for number 3. Number 3. Okay, computer. Okay. So where do I start on this? Where do I start? So this is probably one of the best albums of all time. Now there are 2 albums that are ahead of this, and that's for their own reasons. But this is literally one of the most incredible albums of all time. How so? Just the title, OK Computer. Back when this was made, this sounded like it dropped from some other fucking planet. It's insane. So, this album, like, just the title, OK Computer, like, this was before we were going, OK Google, OK Siri, can you tell me where the highest mountain is located? Like, bro, this is an incredible masterpiece of an album, and if you haven't listened to it already, go listen to it. There's not much I can say about it. It's just so incredible. It's an experience that you need to have in your life in order for your life to count as a life. Notable tracks: Exit Music for a Film, Karma Police, Climbing Up the Walls, and Fitter Happier. Fitter Happier is probably the most depressing song on this album. Just, oh man, I can't even. This is too good for me to explain with words. That's how good this is. But I do have 2 albums I enjoy more than it. Can you guess what they are? If you're a Radiohead fan, you totally can't. This is impossible task. Number 2 is Kid A. Kid A is a soundscape. That's what it is. It's a soundscape. It's trying to describe how the first clone lives. I guess. I guess that's what's happening here. That's what has been explained to me multiple times. And again, if you haven't listened to this album, just go listen to it. Go listen to it right now. That is more important than this video. This video is shit. This video is garbage compared to these albums. This is some of the best work I've ever heard in my entire life. And honestly, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. There's nothing else to it. It's incredible. So, the notable tracks on here, all of them, every single one. Tree Fingers is a little bit weird, but other than that, it's good album. There's nothing wrong with this. It gets a perfect 10, just like this next album does. This next album also gets a perfect 10, and that next album is In Rainbows, the #1 spot. In Rainbows is just such an upbeat but depressing album. Everything on it is just so sad but so happy at the exact same time. And, when I originally listened to it the first time, I thought I hated it because it sounded so upbeat, and I didn't like that. And I didn't like how much of a change it was from Amnesiac and Kid A, where it all sounded so kind of depressing and, a soundscape, and it wasn't that good. But no, this is incredible. This is actually an incredible album. That's why it's my favorite. It's so upbeat, but it's so depressing. Now I can actually name notable tracks on this one, but I feel like they're not exactly more solid than Kid A. I think Kid A and this album are actually equal. I would write all, but I do need a couple of tracks to talk about, so favorite tracks on here: 15 Step, Nude, All I Need, Reckoner, and Videotape. Videotape is just this slow burn that just tears into your soul like a butter knife going through ice. That was that was horrible. But this is just, oh man. No, I can't even explain Videotape with words. That's how depressing it is. Like when you first listen to that song, it's just, oh man, it puts you in like a really bad mood for like a day or two, but not in like a bad way where you're like angry because of it was so bad. It's like it's so sad that it's just you feel depressed for 2 days, and there's no controlling it. There's no stopping the depression. It's just gonna hit you like an emotional tidal wave over and over and over and over and over again until eventually it's like, okay, it's time to listen to this song again, and then it happens again. It took me like 20 listens to this song for it to finally stop hitting me in that way, but I still enjoy it for what it is. Man, either way, this has been the worst to best channel on YouTube. This is the best channel on YouTube. PewDiePie is ranked at the worst, and yeah, this is the worst, the best. This is the only YouTube channel worst. This is the only YouTube channel that does worst to best videos consistently on a daily basis. Okay, I'm sorry, weekly basis. Okay, now let's end this video. Peace.